Hello guys, welcome on this new Coach Dev Academy Lab Guide. I'm Corentin, Guinez, and today we are around Aragon for week 11 of the Falcon Sports Car Series, and we are with the Porsche GT4. So as usual, first we're gonna go with the hot lap, and then I'm gonna go into more details about the car and the track. So yep, let's go. Alright guys, to go for the lap around Aragon with the Porsche GT4. So first corner is just in front of us, and as a braking reference, I'm gonna use the 100-meter board and especially the white line, which is just on the side of the red and yellow curbing. So as a reference, I think the 100 board is a bit too far away to the right, so that's why I'm using the white line instead. But you can use whatever you want actually. So what I'm doing for this one is that I'm gonna brake like I would say 1 or 2 meters before that one, because I think the 100-meter board is a tiny bit too late for the GT4 with the ABS sometimes. So that's why I would brake maybe 1 or 2 meters before, because then if I brake a bit too late, I will just lose too much time on the exit of that one. And especially because on around this track, most of the corners are a bit tight on the exit, so it's better to brake a bit earlier than just a bit too late and just lose too much time, or get enough track on the exit because you just decide to stay flat. So yeah, for this one, just braking a bit early, I would say. And then as you can see, not trying to hit the ABS by going like 100% on the brakes. And there, as you can see, just turning in as soon as I'm getting past the 50-meter board. Just trying to find the rotation on the brakes, just trying to avoid that kind of, I would say it's not a bollard, but it's like an anti-cut, I would say. And then just going on power to find the rotation, staying with third gear for that one, because I think second just kills a bit the momentum. As you can see for this right one, just using all of the track on the inside, it's fine like that. You won't get any off track. And same for this one, just keep your right wheels on the curbing, and then just wait as much as you can. Just wait until you reach the white part of just after the curbing, so then you can turn in. As you can see, just lifting a bit. No need to brake for this one, but need to lift because you cannot really make it flat out with the GT4. And then you can use like all the inside. You can take the curbing on the inside as well. That's sort of anti-cut stuff, but this one is fine actually. You can go through over it without making the car bouncing too much. If you can make it with the Porsche, basically you can make it with all of the GT4, because that's the trickiest car actually over the curbs. So if you can make it with the Porsche, you can make it with every cars actually. So just using all of the track on the inside, and then you can make it flat out, just going over the curb for this one. Same, just make sure you are not going away from the curbing with your right wheels, otherwise you're gonna get the off track. Then moving a bit to the right side, but then I need to kind of stay in the middle of the track because the next corner comes very quickly, and it's like double left, but it comes a bit like a single corner, because like if you compromise this one, then you're gonna compromise for me, which the second one, which is a bit of an exit of the long right, the long left, I would say. So for this one, you have to cut a bit the inside, but not too much, because you have to go on the outside then. So it's not really necessary to go really deep on the inside, because then it means you're gonna have to put more angle, I would say, for the next left. So if you keep like a more, like you say, a bit like curve a bit more this corner, then for me it's a bit better in my opinion than just going deep on the inside. So I'm just going through the curbing and not on the runoff, I would say. I would call that like that. And then just going on the brakes, just need to be kind on the brakes, because if you go with too much pressure, then you're gonna hit the ABS. And the problem is that you have to have the wheel, like you cannot really have the wheel all the way straight. So if you just go too heavy on the brakes and you have the wheel like 40 degrees on the left, then it means like you're just not gonna turn the car. So that's why I'm just waiting to really have the wheel kind of straight just after this first left, to really go on the brakes, heavy on the brakes, even if it's not really heavy, because still you don't have like a huge braking distance. So you really have to like slow down the car earlier and be brake a bit earlier than just go braking like too late, and then you have to brake more, and then you just won't turn the car. So that's why at that point I'm already lifting, and then on the brakes, then at that point the car is a bit more straight, so I can go a bit more pressure. But then as you can see, I need to like just leave the brakes really quickly, because I need to make the car rotate. So there, as you can see, just going on the curbing on the right side, same, like just keep at least one or two wheels on the curbing. And then as you can see, just using the rotation of the brakes and the throttle to make the car rotate. Then same for the exit, just keep at least two wheels on the curbing. That's the track limit of this track, it seems to be. And then for this time, same, just cutting all the way, like just using the left wheels on the curbing. And then for this next one, I'm just gonna use the 50-meter board on the right side. But you can also use the line, because for me, it's better to use the line, because it follows more the racing line. Like if I use the 50-meter board, I don't really know where I'm gonna go. Like I need to look right, but in the same time, I have to put the car on the left. So that's why I'm prefer to use the line for this time, even if I can have a quick check to the board to make sure it's the right line, because as you can see, you have like two different lines. So you can think that this line is the 50, but actually it's the other one, which is a bit more blind, I would say. But as soon as you get close to it, it's you can look at this even better. But yeah, just putting the car to the left, same, using a bit of runoff and curbing when I'm going outside, because it's okay to do that without getting on a track. And then as you can see, I'm maybe braking 2 or 3 meters before. It's pretty much like the T1. I don't want to overshoot the corner. So as you can see, just going a bit earlier on the brakes, not too heavily, because I want to avoid the ABS, even if you can't really get rid of the ABS. Like it seems like it's really easy to get a bit of ABS, but the less ABS you get, the better it is. So yeah, that's why you have to keep like a lower amount of pressure instead of going like completely flat on the brake. And then as you can see, just keeping a bit of brakes to find the rotation just before the apex, but then just like in the middle of the corner, almost in the middle of the corner, just a bit before, just going on power to find the rotation, just getting a bit of curbing on the inside, and then just trying to make sure I'm not running too wide on the exits. So that's why you need to be a bit kind sometimes on the power around this track, because like I said before, it gets a bit tight sometimes on the exit. So if you go too heavily or too early on power, then it's easy to get some off track and wide exits. So yeah, just at least keep two wheels on the curbing. And then for this tricky section, just looking at the 50-meter board, just braking a bit before as usual, just to make sure I'm slowing down the car enough, because it goes downhill. So it's really important to brake a bit earlier. So as you can see, I'm just using a bit of runoff on the entry, and then as soon as I'm going past this line, which is the 50 board, I'm just turning in, trying to avoid this sausage. It's really the thing to avoid there, because if you get the sausage, then you will bounce and you're gonna go wide, which is definitely not good, because then you have a really tight left. So if you are just going if you are too much on the inside for the tight left, then it's gonna be really difficult for you to make the corner. So, and also have a good exit. So basically, just staying on the brakes, just dropping to third gear, then going a bit on power just between the two corners to just keep a bit of momentum. But you really have to be careful about that, just not going too long on the throttle. And then just dropping to second, just trying to slow down the car as much as I can. Also because the exit is really tight, so that's why you have to be you have to wait before going on power, and also because you have to keep the brakes a bit longer. As you can see, just trying to use as much inside as I can, just to make sure I find the rotation. And then some point when I'm leaving the curbing, I need to go back on power because I need to find that momentum again. And also because it's gonna be the way to find the rotation. Like at that point, I'm too slow to find the rotation with the brakes, I would say. So that's why at that point you have to go back on power. So there, as you can see, just finding the rotation on power and being a bit aggressive on the power. As you can see, I like kind of pushed a bit one or two times the throttle to find the rotation. And then for this time, for this next left corner, you cannot really see it because you have the edge of the windshield. You have to stay all the way on this curbing because then it gives you a better angle to approach this kind of kink. It's kind of kink actually. And then it's pretty much like it was, I guess, turn 3. You have to wait until the white part just after the curbing, so then you can turn in and make the corner. So as you can see, just using out of the track, still keeping two wheels on the curbing. And then as soon as I'm getting close of the white part, I'm just putting the car into the corner, and then I guess I need to lift a bit through that one because then you cannot really make it. Just a bit of lift once you are getting on the apex. Just avoid to go too deep on the inside, even if you can get really close of the grass actually and use everything on the inside. But just make sure you don't clip the grass, otherwise you can also lose the car, I would say. I guess. I'm pretty sure you're gonna lose the car. So just a bit of lift, and then you can just stay flat out on the exit, just using all of the curbing. And then we will approach quickly the next corner, which is a left one. So as you can see, you cannot really see the braking. First, you cannot see the apex, and then you cannot see the braking line, I would say. So what I'm doing for this one is that I'm looking at the 100 board on the left. So just right there, just close to I guess it's the fire exit road or something with the orange on the guardrail. So I'm just using that board as a reference. You have to go to the right side of the track because it's a left-hander. So what I'm doing is that I'm just looking at the 100-meter board just before looking at the curbing because you cannot really see the curbing before. So as soon as you can see the curbing, then I'm just looking at the curbing. But then when you cannot see it, I just prefer to look. It's just my reference to make sure I know where I'm basically going and braking. So then when you can see the curbing, just braking just a bit before, I would say just a tiny bit before the white line. So as soon as it goes under the dashboard, so the edge of on top of the dashboard, when it goes under this thing, I'm just going on the brakes. Just need to keep a bit of a margin and not going fully on the brakes because then you go on the ABS, and as you can see, the wheel is not really straight. So if I go fully on the brakes, then I will not have the rotation, and I need to find that rotation because I need to brake, and in the same time I'm on the steering. So that's why I have to be kind of the brakes. Then I need to wait a bit, being a bit patient, because if I turn in too early, then I will get that curbing, which is not ideal because it makes the car bounce too much and because it puts you a bit off the line. It throws you a bit wide, so that's why you have to avoid that curbing. If you take it slightly, it's fine, I would say, but it's better to not take it at all, I would say. So yeah, for me, just stay away from that curbing or just take it, but really slightly. It's not really necessary to take it anyway. So yeah, if you avoid it, you need the line, it's fine. Like you don't need to take it or take risk, take it and then get enough track on the exit. As you can see on the edge of the curbing, then same for the exit. You just make sure to not exit too wide because then you have to prepare the next right one, which comes really close right after, and also because it's almost flat corner. So if you are too much on the inside, then you have to slow down the car, maybe brake. Even if I don't think you have to brake, but you have to just like lift, and then if you lift, you're gonna lose time, which is obvious. But yeah, just need to stay a bit away from the curbing, I would say. Just go with your right wheels, but no need to go with your left wheels on it and use all of the track because it's not necessary. Then you have to move to the middle of the track, but as you can see, quickly move to the right, just turning in, using the curbing on the inside, dropping to upping to fourth gear because I want to short shift to make sure I'm not losing the car, just to make the car a bit more stable through that one because the car can get a bit light there. So I just prefer to upshift to fourth gear to make sure I keep a stable car and I can stay on power. As you can see, it's almost flat out, even if I need to lift a bit because then it can get a bit loose. and then I'm using all of the track before the next corner, and then I'm gonna use the exit road on the left side. So as soon as I'm going across this exit road, I'm just gonna go on the brakes. So as you can see, still using all of the track on the left, close to the exit road, on the brakes, and then I will drop to second gear, I guess, for this one, and then just trying to find the rotation on the brakes, just trying to avoid like the one we saw before, just trying to avoid the curbing. If you get a beat of that one, it's fine, but it's like before, it's better to not hit at all. And then I will try to slow down the car enough to like have a tight exit, because then I need to prepare the left one. So you really have to think in this section. You really have to think about the next corner. So it's pretty much the things for different tracks. Like you always have to think about the next corners. And for this time, it's the truth. Like you really have to think about this one, but you also have to think about the next one, because if you don't compromise this first one, maybe you won't compromise this first one. But if you think like you can carry a lot of speed through the exit of this one, then you will see the next one coming really fast, and you're gonna be a bit on the back foot, because you're gonna have to maybe brake to put too much brakes, compromise the exit of the next one, and then as you can see, you have that long straight just after. So yeah, you have to think about the next one. So as you can see, still on the brakes, and then I'm trying to have a tight exit, so that's why I'm putting that much steering angle, and then going back on power to find the rotation. Just not going too heavy on power, because then if I go too heavy on power, it means like I'm gonna go wider with the understeer. Then as you can see, trying to get close of the white line, and then as you can see, I have the right line. I'm almost all the way to the right side, so it means like I will put a bit more steering angle on the entry, but then I will be able to open the steering on the exit, so it gives me a better traction, obviously, because I won't have some sort of wheel spin or slides. Then a bit of braking, obviously, to slow down a bit the car, and also because I need to find a bit of rotation. But then as you can see, I'm going really early on power, just a bit of power before the corner to find the rotation. I'm being a bit patient, and now I'm going on power to find the rotation. You can use like, I guess, all of the track on the inside, just trying to avoid that curbing on the, or that anti-cut on the inside. I don't know if I'm getting close of it, but I'm not going over this anti-cut. So yeah, it's fine. Like as soon as you just maybe use the anti-cut as a reference for me for the apex, and then that's it. Like if you don't go across, be fine. You won't get any off track or stuff. I don't know if you can break a suspension. You have to avoid it anyway. But yeah, using all of the track on the inside, and then as you can see, trying to find the rotation power, and just trying to make sure I'm not running too wide. So it's the same. Put your left wheels on the curbing, and you're gonna be fine with the track limits. And now you have that really long straight. So that's why I told you to think about the next one, because then you have that straight, and with the draft, you can maybe try something on the inside there. And then for this one, I'm just looking at the 100 board on the left side. So basically, you can also look at this white line, which is just after this one, just right there. So what I'm doing is that I think I'm braking on the white line, or maybe a tiny bit after. But yeah, as soon as I'm going past the white line and just going on the brakes, just sending the car on the inside, trying to aim for the yellow and red curbing, and then just trying to hold the inside as much as I can. So that's why I'm going on the brakes, and then I'm going on the power to find the rotation. Just overlapping a bit the inputs is best thing to do, but yeah, that's the way I'm doing things sometimes. So yeah, because sometimes it can kill the tire. So if you can avoid to do that, it's good, because I'm doing a bit that mistake. So it shows you what to not sometimes. But yeah, that it's better sometimes to just going on the brakes, then leave the brakes, and then going on power, because it can kill a bit the tires. So yeah, I did a bit that mistake, but I think it's fine because I nailed the line in the same time. But yeah, in a long stint, sometimes it can kill a bit the tire. But anyway, just holding the brakes to find the rotation, and then need to find the rotation on power. Just still with third gear, just trying to stick with the inside curb. And then as you can see, I'm just trying to hold on the inside. Like I'm just not trying to go too wide, because then it can be a bit off the line. Because I think it's sometimes it's a bit of camber. So if you are off the line, then it makes it a bit more tricky and unnecessary. So yeah, that's why it's, for me, it's better to shorten the distance as well by staying as much as you can on the inside. And then up to fourth gear, just trying to get close of the anti-cut, even if it's a bit tricky, because it can get a bit understeery with the GT4, as you don't really have the downforce. But at least getting the yellow and red curb, and then you do the same for the exit, just trying to not go too wide, because then it can be an annoying off track. And yep, that's it for the lap around Aragon with the Porsche GT4. Alright guys, that is for today for the lap guide around Aragon with the Porsche GT4. Hope you enjoyed the video and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Enjoy the Discord server if you have any questions about the work we are doing. So yeah, see you for week 12. Bye bye.